Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, our Heavenly Father, and His only begotten Son, who the world only called Jesus Christ. And I do so by Shema Mashiach Yahushai. This your brother Aharon the Righteous from the Angels of Yahweh, right? Back with another lesson. And this lesson is entitled Being Unequally Yoked. So yeah, I'm here to admonish brothers and sisters on being unequally yoked, whether that's uh, doing business with someone in a relationship, partnership, what have you, right? So, there's nothing wrong with uh, loving your loved ones, your family members, your girlfriend, but if that person is unequally yoked, you can't pour everything into that relationship, right? Because this lesson pretty much is spiritual and practical, right? So without further ado, I'm gonna hop right into it. This is 2 Corinthians 6:14. It say, "Be not unequally yoked together. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have the righteous with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?" Right. So if you dealing with a person and you trying to grow in the spirit, you trying to get closer to the Most High God, right? How is you going to do that when the other person is still, right, living worldly and guided by the flesh, right? It can't work, right? You know, first of all, a yoke is a wooden bar, right? The yoke is a wooden bar that carry that two animals use to plow or to pull, right? But if that yoke, right? But if these two animals are different animals, right? They're gonna pull in the opposite direction, right? Because they're not equally yoked. So that's where it comes from, and that's what Paul was getting that from Deuteronomy 10:22. Let me get that. And I'm not gonna be long-winded with this breakdown. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse number 10. Right. So this is where Paul is getting this idea from about being unequally yoked, because he already understood it, right? So uh this is the spiritual part of it, right? He says, "Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together," right? Right. You can't plow with an ox and a donkey together because they not on the same path, right? It say thou right? It say I'm gonna read that again. "Thou shalt not plow with an ox or an ass together." That's the original meaning, right? That's the original image what Paul was thinking in his head, right? These two different animals being unequally yoked, right? It's symbolic of a mismatched partnership that can't work in unity, right? Also, the Most High told us, right, in Deuteronomy 7:3, right, the Most High warned us not to intermarry with the other nations. Why? Because it would lead our heart away from the Most High, just like Paul was warning the Corinthians, right? So these things we have to be mindful of, right? When you going and you trying to link up and get locked in with your significant other who might not be spiritually inclined as you are, right? But you know, this is the problem in some of these households. This is the problem with some of these Israelite marriages, because they linking up with former prostitutes. They linking up with people who don't got their best interests at heart, right? They don't, you. It's a saying that you can't turn a whore into a housewife. So you understand that, but you still go after that whore and try to make her your wife. So brothers gotta be wise, right? Uh, this is the book of Amos. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 3. It says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" Right. That's the question of the day. Can two walk together except they be agreed? You got to be in agreement, right? That fellowship requires shared direction and purpose. If two people don't agree spiritually, they cannot walk in unity. If you with a person who don't got the fear of the Most High, y'all can't walk together, right? It's gonna be unbalanced, right? And it ultimately, right? Uh, what it ultimately do, you get to picking up on this person bad habits, and right, it disrupts your character, right? I got a scripture on that as well. Uh, 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 33. It says, "Be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners," right? Pretty much bad company, right? It can corrupt a good character. And this is what Paul warning, that, you know, that close association, like I said, you can love this person, you can talk to these people, but that when it becomes close knitted, that close association with the wrong people can pull you off your course. So this is what Paul is talking about, and this is why he wrote to the Corinthians, right? Because the people, the believers in that city, right? They was known for their idolatry and immorality, right? Many of those believers, they were struggling, trying to separate themselves from those people that was caught up in idolatry, caught up in worshiping Diana and all these different idols that they had in Corinth, and sexual immorality, right? So at the end of the day, right, if you are being unequally yoked, you got to be careful, because that could lead you, right? That could pull you away from the Most High, and you find yourself out of the truth. And with that, I want to say, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.